Hi, I'm Scott.
And I'm Grace.
And this is the Offbeat Podcast.
We're bringing the party out of the studio, getting a little offbeat, and everyone's invited.
Right along with us as we get down and dirty with the Inspire community.
Don't forget to rate, review, share, and subscribe.
So this week we've got Miss Ariel Kaplan with us.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming in. You guys
Thank you for having me.
at home would know Ari from
Instagram.
I was about to say, where is this going? You told me where would you
Probably
go?
80,000 followers, yeah.
We'll get back into that eventually, but you know, it is the Inspire podcast, so
Yes.
let's chat spin to start with.
Let's.
The queen of the jog.
Thank you. What I've been waiting to hear.
We're ready.
How did you sort of get into spin and into fitness? What was the story there? What's your background?
So growing up, I was like the least into fitness person you've ever met. I danced and that was about it. I hate sports. I'm not good at like team sports. So I was never really interested in exercising. And then when I turned 16, I went to Europe and I decided to eat the entirety of the continent.
Yeah.
And I got back and I was like, you know what might be good? Like not lying down all day and eating shit. So I went to the gym for the first time and I literally just fell in love with it. I started with Les Mills like you did, Scotty, and I did Body Attack, like, you know, the big ass
love
movements.
Pump. I loved
we
Pump.
love it.
Yeah.
Like still now, I reckon going back, I would absolutely love it.
I think it's like a rite of passage. Like you speak to
100%.
any fitness person,
Yeah.
they're like they've always done.
You've got to
something
start at Les Mills.
Yeah.
You've got to. So yeah, I did that, and then I was filming Neighbours, and while I was on there, I was like, had so much spare time in the green room with filming, so I decided to get my certification because everyone else was like studying important stuff, and I was like, well, I'm going to be hot and fit. So
Win-win, baby.
yeah, exactly. So I did that, and then when I finished Neighbours, I did the next rite of passage in fitness. I went to work at F45. So it's a natural progression.
Tick, tick, yeah.
Yeah. So did F45, did KX Pilates, literally the typical. And I had done spin a couple of times when I was living in America because it just wasn't really a thing in Australia. I mean,
Yeah.
regular spin at the gym was, but not rhythm riding.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And literally 3 weeks after I wrapped up on Neighbours, a new studio opened in Melbourne and I started riding there. And a couple of months in, they asked me if I wanted to be an instructor. And the rest is history. That was like probably 5-6 years ago now.
Wild.
Yeah, been doing it
I
a
feel
long
like
time.
That's the theme. If you're riding, then you're going to be getting the call up to be an instructor.
Oh, 100%. If you're on the beat, we'll take you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a talent.
It is a talent, and I think coming from a dancing background, I always say
I
that to
agree.
rise. Like, it's so much easier if you're musical and you can hear it. I mean, everyone can eventually get it, but I think initially, if you can hear music, you've got a head start.
Yeah.
I think probably coming from a performing background as well, you would just be a natural. I think.
No, not me. I don't perform.
Actress.
Don't make me sing. I think it definitely helps. We've had this discussion before where I think it is in a way a performance. However, different from being on stage or on TV, it's not about you. It's very much about keeping it about your audience and your clients. So that was kind of the transition for me to going from performing because that's my job to, you know, be watched and be seen to performing to make it the experience about someone else.
Yeah, to sort of bring people, I guess, on that journey with you.
Exactly. The journey. It's all about the journey.
The ride.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned sort of Neighbours and Saddle Club, where people might know you from as well.
Yeah.
You started fairly young.
Very young. So
In
I
that sort of
started
business?
in, unlike Dom, who didn't get a job till 27.
Shady.
I started working at 7. So I started in musical theatre and I did that up until I was 12, just like your typical Oliver, Sound of Music, Annie, The Lion King, all the typical kids shows. And then I got cast in Saddle Club when I was 12 and I did that up until I was about 15 with like touring and stuff. And then took like about a year off and then ended up being on Neighbours for nearly 4 years. So my life was kind of not really normal until I turned about 22. And now I'm so freaking normal. Just ask
time.
anyone.
That's such so jam-packed within those first 20 years of your life.
I
Just
know.
constant.
I look back now and I'm like, I have no idea. Like I meet 7-year-olds now. Like my nephew is 5 and I'm like, you're a fetus. Like, how did I work? How dare my parents? No, I'm so lucky. My parents begged me not to be in the industry, and I was like, you're taking me to the audition or I will get a cab there. Like, I was a crazy little child.
Yeah, how did you get into it? Like,
so my sisters were singers in dance. Like, we all went to dancing lessons and singing lessons. And my first job, there was a newspaper article that said open call auditions for Oliver the Musical from ages like 6 to 10 at the Rod Laver Arena, which is just like a big arena in Melbourne. And I saw it and I was like, Mum, you're taking me. And she was like, no, I'm not. Like, an open call
please
is
no.
every person's worst nightmare. And we got there and I was number 712 in line. Stood there all day to sing 2 lines of Consider Yourself.
Consider yourself.
There, hit it, Gracie. That's it. You would have got it. You should have auditioned. And I was just so confident, like blindly confident. I was like, I've got this. And Mum was like, no, you don't.
You're
Like,
170th in line.
you
I think
literally,
they're gonna see a few people.
you don't got this, babe. And I did. I got this. So that was
so
like where it
good.
all started.
Yeah.
And then I got an agent and that's where it all began.
It's a lesson in blind confidence.
What are you
there.
currently doing now, acting wise?
So COVID kind of like
Obviously,
stopped
yeah.
acting,
Yeah.
that industry for a while. And to be honest, like, everyone always says to me, like, you know, are you still acting? Is fitness? I love both of them, and I'm so lucky that I've found 2 passions, obviously, but it is hard to juggle them
Conflicting.
because, say I got an acting job, you can't really do 2 things like that at the same time. It is a full-time job. So I'm going for auditions for things that I'm really interested in now that things are gearing up again, and a lot films in Queensland, so it's good that things are
So
starting
true.
to be made again. But I just sort of take it as it comes. I really love fitness, and it's a much kinder industry. It's a lot less rejection.
Yeah.
It's a lot less about, surprisingly less about what you look like. You'd think fitness would be so savage with that, but acting is next level. So yeah, I eventually would love to be in both, but just taking it as it comes at the moment.
So obviously originally from Melbourne.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm originally from South Africa because I'm so cultured. But yeah, I was been in Melbourne since I was 1. Yeah.
What got you up
My
here?
annoying boyfriend actually brought me to Brisbane. So I started dating my boyfriend Dean about 5 years ago. And about 3 years into our relationship, he told me that his master's course is only offered in Brisbane. To which I replied, can I swear? To which I replied, F off. I'm not moving to Brisbane because I'd actually never been to Brisbane in my life. And if you ask anyone from Melbourne, they will tell you that
country.
nowhere else is important.
Yeah.
Melbourne is the best, and you'll be going to the countryside. So I was like, soz mate, we'll do long distance or I'll find
See
another
ya.
one.
Yeah.
There's
Bye,
plenty
Dean.
of fish in the sea. Turns out I'm more clingy than I thought. And I was like, you know what, I'll give it a go. So we planned to move up at the beginning of last year, and then COVID hit. So we got delayed until July. I believe we got here, had to do 2 weeks home
You and
quarantine.
Scotty start at the same time.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
got
we
here
moved up.
just before me.
Yeah.
Did you have to do quarantine?
No, because I was coming from Adelaide.
You
So
lucky
I didn't have to
bitch.
quarantine
They're
or
clean.
anything.
Try quarantining in an empty apartment. Like, we had like base furniture, but we were like sleeping on towels for the first night because you couldn't go out and get anything, and we couldn't like pack linen because we had all of our belongings. It was quite the bogan time, let me tell you.
We did the same.
It's like,
move.
this is exactly what I thought it was going to be.
This is
where
why
I'm
I
heading.
didn't want to leave Melbourne. Yeah.
Yeah, I think our first 2 nights in Brisbane, our furniture hadn't arrived, so it was just
The
us
mattress.
and 2 cats and a dog
Even better.
in an absolutely empty house.
You just look at each other, don't you? Like, what were we thinking?
yeah, what have I done?
Literally. So that's why we moved here initially. And then probably the 4th week we were here, I was like, okay, I'm never leaving. Like, I just fell in love with it. And Dean loves it. He actually finishes his course at the end of the year and he's moving back to start working to be a
Exciting.
psychologist. Yeah. That's why he's dating me. I'm his biggest project. And then at some point I'll head back to Melbourne because that's where my family is.
Yeah.
But if my family weren't there, I would like never leave Brisbane. I love it so much here.
Love it.
No thanks to you two.
I mean, it's a bit of a surprise package. I think I'd been here once before I moved up here
Yeah.
and didn't expect to love it as much as I do.
What is it, do you think?
Well, okay, not today because the weather is actually disgusting
yeah.
today. But generally, I mean, that's the obvious one compared to Melbourne. Like, you see sunshine more than 5 days a year, which
Yeah.
is really nice. I just think in general the lifestyle is really relaxed
Chill.
and not in a like a shitty way, not in a like, oh, everyone's so
Lazy.
laid back, nothing gets done. Just there's a calm sense. I will say that like I'm living in the middle of like Tenerife, Newstead, so it's amazing here. I think if I was further out in the suburbs, I may not love it as much because I'm used to living in the city. But I don't know. I think it's about the people as well. Like, obviously, I love my job so much and you guys and everyone I work with. And I've made so many, like, really close friends with clients. And it's like the thought of leaving that, I'm like, no.
Definitely not. You won't be leaving for a while now.
No, still a while. Don't you worry. And you know what? I could be swayed. If anyone wants to house me, if anyone wants to pay me a lot of money, Kate and Mark
I do have a price. I do have a price.
Yeah, everyone's got a price.
This is where we bring in Dean for his opinion on this.
He's like, no, she's got a price. He'll take it. He'll be happy about it.
I can find another job. We can get through
He'll
this.
pay them to keep me here, I reckon.
What is it about Inspire that you love so much, do you think?
Honestly, everything. Like, I remember my first day at Inspire was a big team meeting. And in Melbourne, the studio I worked at, I was like probably the biggest personality and, you know, I was the loud one. I was like the head trainer there. So I walked into Inspire being like, oh, I'm just going to have to like quiet myself down a bit. And I walked in and there was JK like, and everyone was yelling and screaming. And I was like, I found my home.
Yeah.
I just love it. I feel like it's such a fit for me and the community, the clients. Like, as I said, I've just created so many beautiful friendships and not many people in the world get to wake up every day and be excited to go to work. And I'm so blessed. Like throughout my life, I've had that a lot, but especially at the moment. Like my body can be aching and I can be exhausted, but I still like the second I get on that stage, I'm like, I love my job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got your crew. You've got your little crew.
I got my little gangsters out there.
Yeah.
We're ready.
So good.
All right, a segment we like to do is quickfire.
Petrifying.
Absolutely.
That's my response to quickfire.
So we're going to throw some questions at you. First thing that comes to your mind, if you do need to elaborate or give context.
You know what this is great for? People with anxiety. Cheers, guys. Let's go.
Nothing hectic.
Let's go.
Brisbane or Melbourne?
Nothing hectic. Just
Straight
everyone
off.
I know listening to this. Family, Melbourne, but for life, Brisbane.
Oh.
I've already stuffed it up. I picked
Diplomatic.
both.
I
Great.
like it.
I promise I'll pick one for the rest.
All right, speaking of, dance with Dina or dance with Scott?
Scott.
Hey,
Dina's not going to listen to this.
Yeah.
Besides, Dina twerks. She don't dance. It's fine.
Loophole.
Yeah.
We love that. Last text on your phone, who was, and what did it say? Who was it?
Un momento.
Here we go.
Just going for the
Some
phone
tea?
here.
There's about 3 people that text me. My mother, my boyfriend, and
The
Eloise or Lily.
and the photos.
Eloise. Thank you. Made my day. I'm so excited. I bought her treats from Agnes Bakery.
So fancy.
Now I look like a good person.
Usually it's Ari's just like pictures of her nephew and her dog.
That's not where I thought this was going. I'm so glad. I thought I didn't know where you were going to say
I thought we'd
pictures.
taken a very
I was like,
weird turn
don't
there.
you dare out me. No, it literally is only
So
pictures
cute.
of my family. I am the most boring person you've ever met.
What are your nephew's names?
Darcy and Emmett.
Their little eyes.
Don't even. The freckles, the
They're just
eyelashes.
dolls.
I can never have children because they will never be as cute as them. And I've accepted that. And that's how it's going.
Yeah, you can just have what is it? Part-time custody.
Yeah, they're mine.
Half,
They
yeah.
kind of look like me sometimes.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. Most embarrassing moment on stage?
Inspire or life.
Oh, life, many. Like when I was in Oliver, there was a scene, I played an orphan, and there was a scene where we had to pretend to be asleep on stage. And being 7 years old, I was tired, and I did fall asleep on stage. No, I did. I fell asleep on the stage of the Regent Theatre, and like one of the boys was like kicking me, like, get up. And I just remember waking up like,
Where am I?
am I dreaming? So on that stage, yeah, I've really embarrassed myself. I'm trying to think of Inspire. I really go out of my way to try not embarrass myself because like I know how easy it is. I think every time I walk down the stairs, I'm like, this is mortifying
Nervous.
because
It's creaky.
everyone just watches me like bending my knees, shoulders up. Like I've watched way too many people fall and I'm like, I can't do it. So I think it's almost
Feels
more
Scotty.
embarrassing.
Scotty.
Yeah,
We've all been there.
Watching Scott, Jake, JK, everyone,
Yeah.
I'm like, I look like a grandma with a wheelchair, like coming down those stairs. But I can't think of anything super mortifying right now.
All right, so this can be globally, anywhere in the world, your dream team teach?
Oh.
You already know this, I feel like. There is an instructor in Arizona called Christina. I think it's Girod.
That's how I've been saying it, yeah.
I don't know. I've decided that's her
Girod's
name.
hard.
Yeah. And she is like just the most inspiring human in the world. Like I've posted her a few times on my Instagram and everyone replies just being like, what the hell? She just opened her own studio and all of her riders are just like perfectly in sync, and she's got these arms that are like my dream arms. So it would be her and Scotty because we're like her fangirls. So like just us three in a triangle, like, oh my God.
Epic.
My happy place.
Yeah.
You guys can do a team teach and then just dedicate it to
And then
Christina.
just like marry her. That would be the plan.
If we can plan some sort of business research trip to Arizona.
Oh, no, like everyone's like, where do you want to travel post-COVID? I'm like, Arizona. They're like, that's strange. I'm like,
Very
is that-
niche.
Spin class.
It's not
I'm gonna do a
niche.
spin class.
I actually only to one particular suburb in Arizona too.
Scottsdale, Arizona.
I love that you know it. Yeah, so she is my like icon, my inspiration when it comes to spin.
What about in the studio, Scotty?
Yeah, I love teaching with Scotty. We have the same taste in music, which helps,
So true.
except when you bring your stupid nickel back in. And I give
You're random. The mix on Scotty
It'll be like
sometimes.
Taylor Swift,
Yeah.
Ariana. Like, I'm loving it. And then he'll
And
be
they'll
like,
be like-
are you ready for Nickelback? I'm like, no.
Or like
I'm not.
rhythm and like rah, rah, rah.
So as long
Yeah,
as you
I
can
do
put
love a throw it around. I went through a Nickelback phase probably about a month and a half
a
ago.
little bit emo amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I say I hate it, and then like I get into the climb, and I'm
goes
like,
hard.
why am I enjoying this? But yeah, I love teaching. We actually haven't done one in ages.
been too long.
We need to do a little theme.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love
Red
teaching with you
re-release.
because
Oh.
I think our minds work very similarly.
Yeah.
And we
And you're so
very
good
much
off the
pick up on
bike,
them.
and I hate getting off the bike.
So Scotty's just like,
yeah, so
got
it's like
buddy rolls.
Scott's got the entertainment, he's getting everyone amped, and I'm just like, I'm dying, but I'm loving it.
woo.
Woo!
and for a spin instructor, I don't like to be on my bike as much.
You know what? You don't need to. I've always said, like, for me, I love when instructors are on the bike, and then I say, except for Scott. I actually prefer when you're off the bike because I get so much more entertainment. I'm just like, what's he going to do next? Whose bike is he going to slide into today?
Literally. So Taylor Swift or Olivia Rodrigo? Rodriguez?
Rodrigo.
Rodriguez?
No, Rodrigo.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Sorry.
Come on.
Sorry.
Taylor Swift. I think
Longevity.
Olivia. Yeah, I think Olivia is beyond talented, and I
Yeah.
think she's going to be huge. But like, I probably know 4 of her songs really well, and I could probably give you most lyrics to most Taylor Swift songs.
and with the Taylor Swift, the re-releases coming up,
Don't.
I'm
not ready. My friend Ali, a girl named Ali, you're welcome, Ali. She's on YouTube. She tiered every Taylor Swift song ever. Like, you've never met anyone as in love with
Ever?
Taylor Swift. She knows every song, like those random songs
Yeah.
that you're like, no one listens to that. She ranked them from like God tier all the way down. And I spent 45 minutes watching that yesterday, and I finished it, and I was like, I
Well.
need to get another job.
What am I doing?
But I thoroughly enjoyed it.
At least you know the good songs now.
Exactly.
God tier.
She put 22 at like second last though, so I'm not talking to her.
Oh, see,
right?
I would agree
Don't.
with that.
It's like middle.
It's okay.
It's just
And that was a
overplayed
great
'cause everybody-
podcast, and it's
Wrapping
lovely.
things up now.
Nice to see you
It's
guys.
just because it became the theme song for everybody's 22nd birthday.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
true,
I'm over
true.
it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
When you get to 27 and you reminisce over the days of being 22, maybe you'll
Wow,
appreciate.
you're the same age as Dom.
I know.
And you've had more
and
jobs.
he just got his first job. Yeah, I'm not an Olympian. Whatever.
You know,
Yeah.
it's fine. Don't need
Saddle
that.
Club Olympics. I know which I'd pick.
Who would be your ideal bike 10 rider?
From Dom.
Speaking of
Are we
Dom.
allowed to say this? Oh, I'm like, I feel so bad. Oh, no. I feel like I'm going to get hate. I love everyone, and I would love everyone to sit wherever they like, but Miss Tanith is
Oh,
just...
she's just like
Sometimes
a gazelle.
I'll
She's
be
just so
riding
elegant.
and I'll be teaching, and I just go,
Wow.
oh, whoops, you're not teaching, I am. Because
Yeah.
I'll just be watching her being like, that's what I'm meant to look like.
She's amazing.
She's incredible. But honestly, like, my favorite thing about Inspire is watching the growth from like people who started in the back row,
Yeah.
who are now bike 10, bike 20, wherever they are riders, and just watching everyone get that confidence to move forward.
So
like as
cool.
much as I love having incredible riders at the front, it's for me watching people go from, you know, not being able to hear the music to being like, on that sprint, loving it. Like that is my favourite thing about my job.
So cool.
Such a nice feeling, isn't it?
It is. It's like, I'm so good
I
at my
built
job.
that. I built that.
That's on me.
Yeah,
that's on me.
Thanks, guys.
You guys are doing nothing. That was me.
Brisbane eateries, favourite place to eat in Brisbane?
I'm good at eating.
Yes.
Plant Vibes.
Yeah, always.
Would you count that? I think
Ari's
it's the
vegan,
Valley.
by
Oh
the
yeah.
way.
How do you
It's
know a
part
vegan?
of her
I'll tell
identity.
you. Yeah. That's my persona. I am vegan and I'm a grandma. So yeah, Plant Vibes, obsessed. It's just like an amazing cafe. Go get the Big Benny breakfast. It's like a potato rosti, smashed avo.
Yeah.
I'm really hungry right now. Where else do I? Greenhouse Canteen. Have you been there yet?
Yes.
Sorry. Oh my God. We
so
went there
good.
for the first time a couple of weeks ago. Incredible. And El Planta in West End. It's a vegan Mexican
I feel like you're
place.
always there. Like,
You were
I am
there every
there.
you have
day.
shares in that place.
Yeah.
For my birthday, I got like 6 vouchers to go to El Planta, and I'm working my way through them, and I'm there more than I'm at my own home.
And then you get a restock at Christmas.
Exactly. If anyone is listening, Christmas time, El
I would
Planta,
like- yeah.
you can purchase them online. Nothing less than $200. No, it's incredible. It's like Mexican, but you could take a non-vegan there and they'd have no idea.
Yeah.
Like
Totally.
when I went the other week and the girls were like, no, this is fish. Like it's 100% fish. I'm like, well, it's not, but okay.
I'm scared.
I'm petrified now. Thank you.
Nice. Now, segment we like to do is high bar, low bar.
Okay.
So, best from the studio and worst moment from the studio.
Oh. Okay. Wow, this is one I would have liked at least 6 weeks to prepare for. Best moment from the studio, I would say I really, really love my 1 year ride. It was just
Epic
such
ride.
Yeah, it was just such a like amazing moment. Firstly, like so many people booking in and so much support, but just like looking around at the community that we'd built in a year, and obviously Inspire already had an incredible community, but when I first arrived, probably similar to you, actually probably not, I'm guessing your classes were full from your first day, but like my classes for the first, couple of weeks, there was like 5, 10, 15 people, and I was like, oh my God, no one's going to like me. I'm the new girl. It was really scary coming from being like a head trainer to feeling like starting from scratch.
Yeah.
So that was just amazing to look around and be like, wow, I'm proud of myself and I'm so proud of my riders. Worst moment, that's really hard.
I think it's hard when you're in the environment where you don't really have necessarily a bad day.
Because you come in to
No.
get rid of the bad.
Literally,
Yeah.
and it is my therapy. I always say that. Like, it's very rare that I'll walk out of work ever in a bad mood, like no matter how shitty I've been feeling before I walked in. You probably like, no, I literally, like I've had rides where probably no one else would notice, and you might relate, Scotty, where I've like stuffed up the choreography or I've missed beats, and that sounds so petty, but like I'll think about it all day and I'll be like, I ruined that
Everybody
ride.
knew.
I ruined
Everybody
it for
saw
them.
me panic.
Everyone
Yeah.
hated every second of that.
Yeah.
And I'll message like someone about, I'm so sorry, like that choreography was way off, and they're like, what are you talking
good.
about? So I'm like a perfectionist, so with that, those kind of things really stick with me. But honestly, like because I don't drink, I haven't had these worst
Funny.
moments that
Yeah.
everyone has had. I get to watch them.
So true.
Which is actually, I take it back, my favourite moments were watching everyone get effed up. They are, and just watching it, the decline.
Sunday morning,
The start of the night,
Sunday
we're all
morning.
killing it.
Yeah.
And then it like gets to like 8 p.m. and I'm like, who have we lost? Who's going down now? Very excited for Christmas party. Cannot wait.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. Finally, just to, I guess, wrap things up, we like to do a little bit of advice to your younger self. So if you could, obviously,
Miss
7-year-old
baby
Ari was
Ari.
obviously very
baby
busy
Ari.
working.
Yeah,
but
she could probably,
Oh, look at the little hat.
like, not a performer.
Yeah.
Like, just
Headshot.
yeah. Sorry, where's my lighting?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think like baby
Kind
Ari
of
was
like
probably.
Eloise.
Do I?
A little bit.
Adorable vibes. I've still got the exact same, like, we
Hat?
call it the Kaplan chin. Like, yeah, I've got that hat too, and that dress. I actually wish I had that dress. But the curls.
Yeah, same like face.
Yeah, the same face shape. Okay, advice. I have always, since I've heard this quote, like lived by it, comparison is the thief of joy. And I think by no means do I remember it constantly, but whenever I'm really struggling in life, I generally realize it's because I'm comparing my life to others.
You just catch yourself.
Yeah, not even in a competitive like, oh, why are they doing that and why aren't I? But constantly being like, am I where I should be in my life? You know, people my age are starting to get married and have kids or, you know, owning businesses or whatever. And I think it's so important to remember that everyone looks at you and goes, wow, I wish I could have that. Or parts of your life they admire or they yearn for. And at the end of the day, if you are happy and you are healthy, that is the only thing that matters. And as I get older, I realize that more and more. Like materialistic shit, like it what you look like, no one's going to care. So stop focusing on all those little things you think are so important and just realize like if you can wake up every morning and be like, wow, I've got a life I'm really grateful for. That's all I would ever focus on. You're winning.
You really are. Yeah.
I think it is. It's so easy to get caught up in.
It's just an unconscious thing.
Comparing yourself.
And then you catch yourself and you're like, oh, no.
Why am I doing like self-sabotage?
Yeah, really.
And that's the thing. We all do it. So it's not like, you know, I say I live by that. But then some mornings I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh my God, I feel so fat today. And I'm like, shut up. Like, honestly, what are you talking about? Like, get over yourself. No one cares. Like, there are so many more important things in life. And yeah, I think the quicker you learn that no one cares as much about you as you care about you in the nicest possible way.
I think someone said that to me one time that I had a sort of similar sentiment. I was like, oh my God, I'm worried about what people are going to think about me. And someone was like, why are you being so selfish? Like, why do you think that everyone else's world revolves around you and they're thinking about you?
And that's
all
what
the
I tell
time?
riders who are like, no, I don't want to sit at the front. Like, I don't want everyone to look at me and judge me. I'm like, if you think anyone in that room is looking at anyone but themselves in that mirror, I'm lucky if I get a look at. Sometimes I'm like, hey guys, remember, I'm up here. I'm showing you the choreography. Like, it's a really good metaphor and example for it because it is. Like, at the end of the day, we're so focused on ourselves, but no one else is as focused on us. So just live a little. No one cares.
Yay.
Words to live by there. I love it.
Iconic, some might say.
Oh, okay. Took your own.
Ari, thank you so much for coming. It's been so good to spend some time outside the studio in non-sweaty clothes.
Yeah, I'm sweating, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, I'll be.
I am still in Lululemon on the bottom. I'd also like to finish this podcast by saying this is not my normal voice. I am not a chain smoker. I just get too excited when I teach, and I'm so sorry that I sound like an old man. Thank you very much.
It's a sexy voice.
It's nice.
This is the Ari After Dark voice.
Oh. We'll be tuning in next week for After Dark.
Oh, that's hot.
That is not hot. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Grace, for spending another week here.
Killing
It's been fun. We must do it again sometime.
Okay.
Yeah, After Dark next week.
New series.
New series.
Thank you.
As always, guys, subscribe, rate, review, all that sort of good stuff. If you do want to spend some more time with us in the studio, Offbeat 10, check the show notes. There's a bit of a sneaky discount code in there, which is always nice. Reach out. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you want to hear. Yeah.
Unless it's Nickelback. Ciao for now.
All right, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.